you're live with Believe with your host, Casey Kerr. You're live, Casey.
Hey there, and welcome to Believe. I'm Casey Kerr, and I am so excited to have you here today. We are going to be talking about something that I think will be very helpful for you. I've put together 3 simple shifts to put you in the flow, build momentum, and get results. So, I am wondering if you ever feel worried or stressed or pressured that you're not doing enough, not being enough, not having enough, if you ever feel like you're not making enough money, you don't have enough clients, there's not enough of the things and experiences that you want in your life, and wondering if you ever struggle with procrastination. Because I have been all of those things, 1, 2, 3. And a lot of the clients and students that I have the exact same challenges. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Because I am here to make your life easier, to help you to relieve the pressure, the stress, and the worry that you feel, that you put on yourself every day, and that other people put on you, that life puts on you. There is a way to get over that. And I believe in you. And I believe that you are here to do something amazing and to have a wonderful experience. And it's my job to help you get there. I want your journey to believing in yourself to be a shorter one than I had. I did it the hard way, so you don't have to, okay? I'm good sharing like that, yeah. So, if you've watched any of my shows in the past, you know that I talk quite a bit about programming and about perspectives. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to take you into some real life perspectives so that you can create 3 new ones on your own that will have a massive impact on your life. And how do I know this? Because it's had a massive impact on my life, and it's had a massive impact on the lives of the other people that I've taught it to, the clients and the students that I work with who've had some amazing shifts because they started by shifting their perspective. That's how it all starts. Everything that you see through these little eyes, my son and I play this game, I Spy with My Little Eyes. We play it every morning on the way to school and every day on the way home. And it's one of those things that you probably don't pay a ton of attention to in your life, but your perspective and the way that you see things is what really determines what kind of choices you make. It determines how you feel about yourself, about your life, and all the parts of it, your business, your relationships, your money situation, your physical body. It really impacts absolutely everything in your life. And it's happening at a level that is kind of above your awareness. So you are being manipulated, if you will, by perspectives that you may not even realize that you have. And that's why you're making the choices that you do, or that's why sometimes you feel like you have no choice. How many times have you said that? I don't have a choice. I have to do it this way. This is all I can do because of X, Y, and Z. I don't have a choice. The truth is, you always have a choice. But very often, it feels like you have no choice at all. And that's because of the perspectives that you have and the programming that you have. So when you're able to change those, then you start to feel like you have more choices. And as you learn to believe in yourself and you feel that real sense of strength and power in yourself in this moment, not in who you have the potential to be and who you think you could be when you fix X, Y, and Z, but who you are right now. That's what real belief in yourself is. Real belief in yourself allows you to say, I'm not ready. I am not ready, but let's do it anyway. Let's do it anyway. I'm going to step right into this, even though I am scared out of my pants, even though I have no idea what's going to happen and this could go really, really bad. It could completely fall apart. And I'm not ready, but I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to step into it. That's what makes the magic happen. That's what makes opportunities just tumble right into your lap. That's what's happening to some of the people that you might be seeing in your life or in your circles, in your networking circles, or online, or people that you know or that you know of, when they have opportunities that seem to just fall into their lap, it's not an accident. They are creating those opportunities through their belief. And they are able to take action because they have perspectives and programming that makes them feel like they have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And as somebody who did not have those perspectives, I can tell you that when you feel like every step you take, you could potentially wind up empty-handed and alone and not having, doing, or being what you want, then it makes it really difficult for you to take those steps. That's why you procrastinate. I know that's why I procrastinated. So we're going to change some perspectives today, and we're going to jump right in, and we're going to do that right now. So let's see. The first perspective that I'm going to share with you is one that you may find hard to believe if you have negative programming. So bear with me. The first one is a belief that says, I always have everything that I need. Now, you might be looking around at your own life and saying, Casey, that is not true. I do not have everything that I need. There's plenty of stuff that I need and I don't have. And I would say, okay, you're proving my point. You don't have a perspective that says, I always have everything that I need. Because if you did, you wouldn't look around at your real life and see all these gaps. I suffered from plantar fasciitis for over a year. I didn't know what it was. I just know that every time I got up, my feet hurt like hell. That when I put any weight on them at all, it was excruciatingly painful. And one of the things that I learned from that was that there was an energetic connection to money, to feeling like I didn't have enough. And so I was constantly clenching and clutching. And I was even doing that with my toes, which caused the plantar fasciitis. Of course, I wore a lot of flip-flops too. And so I was literally clenching my toes to keep my shoes on sometimes. And so I had that ailment. So I went to see someone to do some body work to address it. And she said to me, well, Casey, you always have everything that you need, right? And I said, yeah. And that stuck with me. And after she left and I was there having a few moments to myself, I realized, no, I don't believe that at all. Not consciously or subconsciously. I actually had a belief that I didn't always have everything that I needed, and that everything that I needed was a struggle for me to get, that I had to really, scratch and claw and work my tail off to get everything that I needed. And that's what contributed to my control freak tendencies, where I felt like I had to control everything. If I could control everything, then I would certainly have what I needed. But that becomes a whole other problem, right? So the first perspective shift is for you to open up to the idea that you always have everything that you need. Now, when I thought about, is there any evidence in my past that would help me believe this? I brought myself back to every month when I was trying to pay my bills. And I kept expecting that there was going to be this big cash windfall at some point. And every month at bill time, right around the 28th of the month when all the bills started rolling in, I would hold my breath and be like, all right, where's that big cash windfall, baby? I know you're coming. I know you're coming to mama. And it wouldn't show up. And I would feel really bummed out and like I was doing something wrong. Okay, I still don't have this down yet. What's the story? Well, when I stopped looking at it that way and I stopped expecting the big cash windfall, and I actually looked at the steady stuff that was coming in and the things that were coming in that I didn't expect, and the extra money that my husband was able to bring home that, he wasn't necessarily expecting or planning for, I realized, Jesus, every month I keep waiting for this big cash windfall that never comes. And I've been so focused on the lack of that I didn't bother to notice that every month I had the money to pay my bills and I had money left over, and it always worked out. So I used that as past evidence, as evidence that I do always have what I need. It was my expectation that was off. So the first perspective shift is I always have everything that I need. Repeat that after me. I always have everything that I need. Okay. The second perspective shift is I am enough. I am doing enough. What I'm doing is enough. I have done enough. This is good enough. And this is something that you want to use. You can use this in so many places. First of all, when you think about yourself and your own feelings of I'm good enough, I'm accepted, I'm okay the way I am, I'm happy with me. You use it that way. But you also use it, and this is especially for those of you who struggle with procrastination, like I did. You know how you do a bunch of stuff, you're working toward something, you get it to kind of a point where you're like, I've been working on this for a while, it just doesn't seem ready yet, it's not ready, it's not good enough. But you've been working on it now for way beyond the period of time that you thought it would take, to the point where it's just gone on too long, but you're still so afraid that it's not ready that you just don't pull the trigger. You fail to launch. This is a great time for you to say, okay, I wanted to have all these bells and whistles, but I don't have that right now. And I'm wasting time, and I'm preventing myself from putting it out there as it is, getting feedback on it, assessing what works and what doesn't, and then tweaking it and putting it back out there. Most people who procrastinate, especially when you're talking about doing it over sort of a project or something that you're wanting to put out into the world that's not a singular action, but sort of a project, a program, something that's a little bit bigger. Most of us procrastinate on that because we think it has to be done at once. This is my one big chance. I got to put it out there once, and it either works or it doesn't. But that's your own expectation. That's not really how it works, and it's not the best way to go about it. Think about the way scientists work. They do experiments. They do experiments so that they can gauge how correct they were. How on are my assumptions? Is this working? Is it not? They put it out there. They test it. They see what works and what doesn't. They tweak a few things, and they do it again. Think of all the successful businesses that you've seen, big businesses. They do that all the time. They do it with marketing campaigns. They do it with products. They do it with all kinds of things. The people that you know that you buy services or products from who are very successful, the people in your circle, the people that you follow online, they're doing the same thing. They put stuff out there. They launch it. They take a look at what's working. They tweak it. They figure out what's not working, and they fix it. They don't get emotionally attached to what isn't working and take it on like they're not good enough because of it. It's just part of the process. It's not a test of how great you are or how not great you are. It's just a process. So instead of holding back and holding off and waiting until everything is perfect and you think that it's going to be flawless the way it is, and you have expectations that, this is going to be the best thing, then you just do it. You put it out there and you assess it. And you say to yourself, it's good enough. I'm good enough. I've done my best. And now it's time to test it and see what's what and make adjustments. That's it. So this is a great shift for you to use with that. It's a great shift for you to use when you're about to take a single step into something that you want to do, but that you're a little afraid to do, a little tentative, a little nervous. You're not quite sure if it's the right thing. The only way that you're going to know is if you try it. It's just like having a bite of a food that you've never eaten. The only way you're going to know if you like it is if you try it. And if you don't like it, you spit it out. No big deal, right? So use that perspective shift. I'm enough. What I'm doing is enough. I have done enough. This is enough. It's good enough. It's good enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done and put out there and assessed. The third perspective shift is, I am always supported. Now, this is a hard one, especially if you're in business for yourself and your business is something that is very close to your heart. If it's born out of a really difficult experience that you had or challenges that you faced and stuff that you've overcome, and you feel really strongly and passionately about bringing this into the world in the form of a business, you are really setting yourself up to have your core fears triggered: fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of lack, fear of disappointment, right? And when those fears are so big that they prevent you from taking the action, taking the steps, launching, pulling the trigger, putting it out there, that's what's keeping you from actually creating and achieving what you want, the results you want, and creating the circumstances you want. It's that inability to take those actions that keeps you stuck in the place where you are and keeps you feeling like you have no choice. But that's when you're kind of operating under this perspective, through these lenses that say, I'm alone. I'm alone. I have to do all of this myself. This is hard. And when you're trying to brace yourself against the disappointments and brace yourself against what might hit you. You know how when it's a really cold day, I know this at night when I'm walking the dog and it's really cold out, I find myself I hunch up a little bit, right? I put my neck into my shoulders and I get smaller so that I'm like experiencing my own body heat. But it makes you constrict, right? It doesn't make you expand because I'm bracing against the cold. Well, I realized that I was bracing against life. And if you're living in circumstances that have you feeling stuck and that you know you are better than, you know that you have the potential to grow right out of, but something is stopping you, then you're probably bracing against life too. And it's natural and it's understandable, because with the perspectives you have and the programming you have, everything is being filtered through fear. So it makes you afraid. It makes you feel like you can't take those actions, take those steps, because you don't know what's going to happen. But when you shift into feeling like you're always supported, always have what you need, and what you're doing is enough, then you don't worry so much about taking those steps, and you don't feel like you have to brace yourself against life. You just know that all is well. It really is all okay. And no matter what happens, you can handle it. This is how we fold belief in yourself into this. Because it doesn't mean that you're not going to experience challenges or loss or disappointments. Oh my goodness. Live TV, right? It doesn't mean that you're not going to experience those things. It means that you have the belief in yourself that no matter what happens, you can handle it and you'll be okay. Like my phone ringing while I'm doing the show. I know I'm okay. I'm not worried about it. Not freaking out. I know that if you're watching, you still know that I have valuable things to share and you still love me. And you probably got a chuckle out of it like I did, right? It's okay. All is well. So how you're wondering, do you add these new shifts? How do you create these new perspective shifts? Well, you're going to do 3 things, and I already mentioned one of them. First, you are going to take a look at past evidence, right? We do this regularly to prove to ourselves that we're in bad shape and that we don't have choices and that bad things will happen. We constantly are looking back and using our past as evidence of our future. Usually we do that in a way that doesn't help us. And it actually kind of is more supportive of believing the negative stuff. So I'm asking you to intentionally look back into your past for evidence that proves that you always have everything that you need. Think back, find some examples in your life of times when you had what you needed, despite being afraid that you wouldn't. Like the example that I gave you about my bills, that I was waiting for the big cash windfall, so I kept thinking I was failing. But when I started looking back and saying, hey, wait a minute, not only was I able to pay all those bills, but I always had money left over, and sometimes more than others. So look back at past evidence to find proof that proves it. Now, it doesn't have to be every single experience. It doesn't mean that there aren't some past experiences in there that prove the contrary. There are going to be, because the truth is that whatever you believe, you create. So since you've been walking around with a belief that says, I don't have everything I need, you're going to find lots of evidence that proves that. So I'm asking you to dig a little deeper here, right? Dig a little deeper for those experiences that do prove that you've had everything that you need. Look for those experiences. And the second thing is that you want to look at how having each new perspective is actually going to benefit you. That in the little moments of your life, day to day, that having these new beliefs are actually going to support you and help you to take more action and put stuff out there more quickly and to build more momentum and start to see and feel progress, right? So you got to really get into believing that this is going to work for you and looking at, how each one of those new perspectives is going to make your life feel better in the moment. Because when you feel better in the moment, you feel stronger, you feel more secure, you feel safer, and you feel more solid on your feet and sure of yourself, then you don't deal with so many of, the stresses and the pressure and the tension. And when you're not constantly worried, you don't see so many boogeymen. You don't see so many of the things that make you afraid and cause you, to brace yourself and hunch up. That stuff is not the first stuff that you're seeing. It's not what you're being bombarded with. So think about that. Like, really put yourself in a place of saying, okay, what's going to be different in my life when I believe that I always have everything I need? How will that make me feel? And how will those feelings contribute to me feeling safe enough to take this action that I know I need to take, but I've been afraid to take? Because I didn't know if it was going to blow up in my face. I didn't know if it was going to break my heart. I didn't know if it was going to confirm that I am indeed not good enough. When you feel really good about yourself and really strong, and you really feel like everything is possible and that you always have what you need and that you'll never have to worry about that, it gives you a freedom to do things that you might not have right now. So do that for each one of these beliefs. For the I am enough, I am doing enough. For the I always have everything I need, I am always supported. Like, really fully bring yourself to a place where you feel what it must feel like when you know you are enough. When you know that what you're doing right this moment is enough and you can pull the trigger. Even if it doesn't look on paper like you wanted it to look, it's okay. How much will that move you forward? How much progress will that help you to make that you are not making right now? If you lowered your expectations a little bit about what you put out there the first time so that you could get feedback on it, and then you could take time to adjust it and tweak it and put it out there again and do that as many times as it takes, what would that free up for you? What would that allow you to do? What opportunities would it give you that you don't have now? So play with that, right? And if you feel like you're always supported and you're never alone, somebody, something, some whatever always has your back, what would that feel like? Especially when you're in business for yourself, or if you're a single parent, right? This isn't just all about business. This is about life. So find the evidence in the past that supports each belief. Feel how good these new perspectives are going to feel. Try them on, right? And the third thing is probably the most important, because you're going to be doing this the most. Remind yourself in the moment. All of those things are true. In the moment when you're saying to yourself, this isn't ready, this isn't done yet, I don't know what people are going to think, it looks half-baked, that's when you say to yourself, no, it's good enough. I'm good enough. I need the feedback. Let me put it out there in its current form so I can tweak it and make changes. I can take this step. I can do this. And when I take the step, if I fall flat on my face, it's okay. It's okay, because now I know what I need to do next time. Or maybe now I know, you know what, that wasn't for me. This isn't what I want. This isn't going to bring me what I want. I'm not going to enjoy it. Let me try another process. As opposed to just saying forever and ever and ever and procrastinating on taking that action. Right? If the action itself that you take doesn't give you any pleasure, despite doing it over and over again and getting better and better at it, then find another action, right? There's more than one way to skin a cat. So always remind yourself when you feel your negative defaults kicking in, bring back that new perspective and just keep reminding yourself, no, I always have everything that I need. I always have everything that I need. If you're worried, bills come in and you don't have the money right now in your bank account, that is a great time for you to just very calmly get into a state of calm. Do it through deep breaths. Put your hand on wherever the place is in your body where you're feeling that discomfort, and just hold it. And just keep breathing in and saying to yourself, I always have what I need. I always have what I need. And if you need to put a little caveat on the end of that says, I always have what I need when I believe it. I always have what I need when I believe it. I am always supported when I believe it. Because that really is the truth. When you believe it, it happens with much more ease. So use this, play with it, have fun with it, practice it in some low risk, low stakes circumstances and situations, because that will build up your trust muscle. That will build up you making this your new perspective. When this starts to become habit, it becomes your default. And when this becomes your default, you start to look at everything in life with these beliefs, and you don't even realize it. And so because of that, when it becomes automatic, that's when it becomes easier and easier for you to make a plan for yourself and say, these are the steps I'm going to take. These are the things I have to do to achieve these results. Okay, let's do it. Because now you're not so worried. You're not so steeped in fear, because you're not seeing fear everywhere. Instead, you're not seeing lack. You're not seeing fear. You're seeing, I'm being supported. I always have everything I need. I'm good enough. And when you see life through those lenses, and it's automatic, it changes the decisions you make. It makes you feel like you have more choice. It presents you with more opportunities, and it allows you to take more action that builds more momentum that helps you to achieve your results. And the best thing of all is that while you're doing it, you feel calmer. You feel more relaxed. You feel more at peace. And that allows you to be more creative. It allows you to take more time for yourself. It allows you to have more fun and experience more of the things in life that you want to experience every day. Because life is made up of little day-to-day moments. So that is my call to action to you. Play with it. Use low-risk, low-stakes situations and build the muscle by using it. And just a reminder, the 3 new perspectives are, I always have everything I need. I am enough. I'm doing enough. I've done enough. I am enough. And the third one is, I'm always supported. And the 3 ways that you're going to lock these in are finding past evidence in your own life that supports each belief, seeing how each new perspective is going to dramatically increase your feelings of well-being and happiness and joy in the moment, and reminding yourself when you feel those negative defaults kicking in, you're going to remind yourself of each new belief. And when you do that, I promise you, it changes your experience in the moment. And that's how we live, moment to moment. So I hope this was helpful for you. It's been incredibly helpful for me and everyone I've shared it with. So when you use it, it works. If you just write it down, fold it up, and don't use it, it's not going to work for you. You got to do it. And I believe in you. I know you can do it. And I'm holding that belief for you right here. I'm holding it in my hands. Okay? It's safe. You can do this. You got this. Thank you so much for being part of this journey with me. And please remember that I am always here to share with you everything that I have learned that has made my journey easier and easier along the way when it started out really rough and rocky. But I wouldn't be where I am right now if I hadn't had those experiences, and neither would you. So remember that. It's all okay. You have everything that you need. You are enough, and you are truly supported. And if you need support with any of this stuff, you know where to find me. And if it's not me, let it be someone else, because none of us does this alone. We all do it together. We support each other, and then we pay it forward. And that's how we roll. So send me your comments. Let me know how you're doing. Send me your questions. And please keep your eye out for some announcements that I'll be sharing about my new program, Fulfilled, which teaches you step by step how to implement all of the things that I'm sharing with you here in a very easy, very simple way, in a very supportive environment with a lot of other kindred spirits who are trying to make themselves be the best version of themselves so that we can live in the best version of the world that is possible. So until next time, thanks for joining me here on Believe. I'm Casey Kerr, and I believe in you. Mwah! I love you. Thanks for joining.